All right, everyone, this is really exciting because you're starting the final paragraph of your paper, which is the conclusion paragraph. In the conclusion paragraph, you'll sum everything up for the reader and hopefully persuade the reader to think your way, since this is an argumentative paper. The conclusion paragraph's purpose is to summarize and finish the paper. Now, walking through the steps of writing a conclusion paragraph, you can, first you want to start with a transition phrase. Now, I only included 3 transition phrases for conclusions on this movie, but if you talk to your Utah Studies teacher or your language arts teacher, I'm sure they can give you other options as well. So the transition phrases that I gave you in this movie is in conclusion, all in all, and after considering these factors. Once you've chosen your transition phrase, you're going to want to connect back to your hook, and I'll show you what that looks like in the next slide. After connecting back to your hook, you'll want to restate the opinion part of your claim, and then also restate the reasons in your body paragraphs that you used. So, the transition phrase that I want to use in my conclusion is all in all. I'll show you what that looks like. Here I want to show you what it means to connect back to the hook. So in my introduction, as you remember, I used a quote or statistic that talked about Arches National Park's lead interpreter, Karen Henker, said, "2 words about Utah come to mind, landscapes and possibilities. There is a beauty from end to end on this state, and you can do so much here." Now in my conclusion, I want you to see the connection that I made back to the hook. So I start with my transition phrase, all in all. The landscapes and possibilities of Utah are too beautiful to ignore. Therefore, HB 123456 should be passed. In my introduction, I talked about landscapes and possibilities. Then in my conclusion, I make that connection back to the hook, referring back to landscapes and possibilities. Now, your hook and your conclusion might not be exactly like this, but you want to make some kind of connection back to your hook as best you can. Try it. If you have questions or if you're struggling, talk with a partner, talk with your Utah Studies or your language arts teacher so you can find out some way to connect back to the hook. So that's a little example of what that might look like. Here's an example conclusion. Once again, all in all is going to be our transition phrase. Then I connect back to the hook. This is underlined in blue or green. The landscapes and possibilities of Utah are too beautiful to ignore. Now I'm going to restate the opinion part of my claim. Therefore, HB 123456 must be passed. You'll write the same thing regarding your bill about whether you think it should pass or whether you think it should not pass. And then I restate my reasons. The money will be well spent as it draws in more tourists and businesses to Utah. Our state is beautiful and meant to be enjoyed not only by tourists, but by the families that choose to live here. Now, these are the 2 reasons that I talked about in my body paragraphs. I restate them in my conclusion. After that, you're finished with your conclusion. So just don't forget that a conclusion starts with a transition phrase, in conclusion, all in all, after considering these factors, or talk to your teacher to get more options. Then it makes a connection back to your hook. Refer back to this video if you're confused about how to do that. Talk with a neighbor. Also talk with your teacher. It'll restate the opinion part of your claim, and then it will restate the reasons in your body paragraphs. Once you're finished with that, you are finished with your conclusion. You're ready to write your rough draft and complete it with your conclusion at the bottom. Good luck. And refer back to this video if you have questions or if you are confused about any part of how to write the conclusion.